You're listening to episode 5 of the Afros and Pixie Dust podcast, The Dapper Disnurse with Anna. Hey Diz friends, welcome to episode 5 of the Afros and Pixie Dust podcast. I am your host, June, and what a week this has been. Endgame premiered this week, and it was intense. I really enjoyed the movie. No, I'm not going to talk about any spoilers. I'm not going to be that one, but I'm just going to say I think they did a really good job. I think that they made use of all 3 hours. I think that it was a great ending to a very long saga, and kudos to the writers, the directors, the whole team, the actors. It was well done, and I'm ready for more. But let's talk about some of the firsts that happened this weekend. So there were 2 awesome meetups that occurred this weekend. In Disneyland, it was the Black Girl Disney meetup, and from what I saw on Instagram, it looked like it was a situation. The curls were there, the Black Girl Magic was there. I mean, I was really feeling the love through the pictures that I saw. And I'm just so happy that it was such a success. I'm hoping that there's a goodie bag or 2 that's lying around in Dominique's apartment so I can get in on some of that swag that they were giving out. So for anyone who is a local to Disneyland, who's planning to be in Disneyland, please stay tuned for the next meetup, because I think that they're going to be better and better from here on out. The other meetup that happened this weekend was the Dapper Day Diversity Meetup at Walt Disney World. And this was 3 meetups all weekend long. Adriana was able to organize different meetups throughout the Dapper Day weekend. And every meetup looked like it was another situation. I loved seeing all the pictures, seeing the stories, all the videos of everyone getting to know each other, finally meeting each other in person for the first time. And it just made my heart so full to see this community coming together and forming such an amazing bond over diversity and over fashion and over our love of Disney. And that brings me to this week's guest. Her name is Anna, and she is one of my oldest internet Disney friends. We first got to know each other on Facebook. We were in a couple of Facebook groups together, and we actually bonded over running and dressing Disney. She was actually my first in real life Disney meetup. We met at a Princess Half marathon, and I mean, I was just so excited to meet her in real life after talking to her online for a while, that it was just the best. She is an OR nurse by day, and her fashion has evolved into Dapper Disneybounding. And so she does that in her spare time, and I really enjoy seeing her creativity with her Dapper bounds, and her accessories are to die for. She's from DC, and she briefly relocated to Florida to live out her Florida local dreams. And that takes guts, and kudos to her. And we talk a little bit about her experience there. So without further ado, let's get into my conversation with Anna. Hi, Anna. Thanks for being on the
Thank you for
show.
having me. I'm super excited that you asked me because, I love talking about Disney and, I already love you. So I'm really happy to be here.
Well, you know I love
Oh,
you too. I'm low key stalk you half the time.
you don't
So
have to low key stalk me. I welcome all the love and I love making friends and, I love like just collaborating and sharing ideas. So I'm glad that you are on my page because I'm always on yours.
good. I'm
Of
glad the
course,
love
of
is mutual
course.
then. So let's start off by you telling me a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I live in Washington, D.C. So I just moved back last summer. And before that, I had like this great experience. I had moved to South Florida, so I was about 2 hours away from Walt Disney World. And that was like an amazing experience for me because I've been a lifelong fan of Disney. But while I was down there, it allowed me to go to Disney World a lot more often. And so I just feel like my whole love was not renewed, but it was taken to a different level while I was down there. And while I was down there, I was able to really explore the parks, something that you can't do when you just take, an annual trip. And I was able to take, day trips or, weekend, and I was able to go multiple times. And through that, I was able to meet people who also, who were locals, and people that I met on Instagram. And my love just blossomed from there. But, outside, I mean, Disney's not my entire life. I have a 17-year-old who's about to go to college, and I work as an operating room nurse. And it's interesting because I do take my love of Disney to work. And so I'm known as the Disney nurse there.
So Disnurses are a thing, and I want us to get into that in a little bit because I'm really interested in hearing your experience as a Disnurse versus my experience as a Disnurse. But let's talk about when your love of Disney started.
Well, my love for Disney, I guess I would say like from the very beginning, as long as I can remember. My mom used to have these collector dolls, and I remember that she had an Alice in Wonderland doll, and and it was so beautiful, but she wouldn't let me touch it. And of course, when you're a little kid, whatever your parents tell you, you can't have, you can't touch, you want it. And so I always remembered that doll. And that's why to this day, Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorite characters. But I also had Winnie the Pooh bed sheets. I had a Winnie the Pooh like little bedroom lamp. And I remember like, being able to like watch all the Disney movies. My parents were pretty poor, so we didn't um we didn't get like a lot of extra things that kids have these days. Obviously we didn't have technology like we do now, but we didn't have video games or anything like that. But my parents did splurge. Every now and then we would get like Disney movies. And I remember the first time we went to Walt Disney World, my parents packed us up in the station wagon and we drove down to Walt Disney World. And that was the first time I ever went. And I just remembered how magical it was. And I still have pictures. And when I look at the pictures, I just, it just brings back so many memories, which is why I love Disney so much. So that was the first time I ever went to Walt Disney World. And we would go again. That would be like our annual trip to Florida. We didn't go to the parks every year, but maybe like every other year or so. So Disney has been in my life for a really, really long time.
Which parent was like bigger into
So I used to
Disney?
always think that it was my dad. My dad was the one who wanted to ride the rides. He wanted to make sure we rode all the rides. And we just had a lot of fun together. So I rode my first roller coaster with him. And it was Space Mountain. And we had so much fun. I mean, I was scared to death, but I still remember like having that memory with him and how much fun he had and, going down Splash Mountain. And my mom, so I'm going to tell you the story. So my mom, she, you know, wanted to make sure that we didn't get lost, that we went to the bathroom when we wanted to go to the bathroom, that we had enough to eat. And my parents back in the day, we brought food in. We you know, they couldn't really afford to buy food, you know, there. So my mom would pack peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or whatever and take them to the parks. And she would always try to feed us, like in line or like in between rides and stuff. But as I got older, like a couple of years ago, maybe not even that long ago, my mom came down to visit me when I was living in Florida, and I was going to be there for Dapper Day at Disney World, and so I told her to meet me in Orlando instead. So we spent a few days at Disney before we went back to South Florida. So I took her to Disney for Dapper Day, and she thought like I was being ridiculous for dressing up at Disney. And when she saw how everyone looked so beautiful, you know, she didn't feel like she was out of place. And she had only planned to stay with me half day because my mom's 75 years old, you know, and I didn't think she wanted to walk all day, but she wanted to stay. I was like, "Are you ready to go back to the hotel?" And she's like, "No, I'm gonna stay." So she like braved the whole day. We had such a good time, and she had only promised me that she would go one day. So the next day she goes, "I think I'll go to Magic Kingdom with you." And me and my son were not planning to go to Magic Kingdom. We were actually going to Animal Kingdom. But since my mom wanted to go, we had to take her. And my mom rode everything that she could ride. I mean, obviously she doesn't ride, you know, roller coasters or thrill rides, but she got on everything else. And every time we got off of one ride, she would be like, "Okay, what's next?" You know? And because like when we were younger, she didn't get to ride, you know, like do things like eating at the restaurants and stuff. I took her to Crystal Palace, and she had never experienced character dining, and she absolutely loved that. And I was happy that I was able to, you know, bring her those memories. So I think my mom was like the low-key bigger Disney fan. Like her face was pure joy that whole entire day.
That is beautiful because like I'm thinking of myself as a mom, and I mean you're a mom too. Like when we're in the parks with young children,
Yeah,
it's just high alert. You're going to make sure
exactly.
you don't lose them. You're going to make sure that they're okay, and you're not even really able to sometimes enjoy the
Right. And I feel
experience,
that that's how she
which
was.
is why I totally co-sign parents going without the kids.
Well, I
That's
mean, I
why.
think it's amazing. I mean,
um
you have small kids. I mean, so it's a different experience for me who, you know, my kid's 17 now. But, you know, when you have little kids, you're so worried that they're going to like, you know, get lost in the crowd or, you know, they get distracted and walk away. And I think that's how my mom was. But, you know, going at 75, and she hadn't been in like more than 20 years in between. So there were a lot of new things for her. She was so cute. She, you know, she was like, "Oh, are we going to go on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?" I'm like, "Mom, that does not exist anymore." But I can take you to see Little Mermaid.
oh
So she, you know, she was really cute, like discovering new things. But it really was like seeing the eyes of a child in my mom. And that was kind of weird, but it made me really happy. And I know that, you know, I'm going to have those memories like for the rest of my life. And that is what it's all about. It's like spending time with the people that you care about and having those memories. And I think that's why Disney is important to people.
yeah, you bond,
Yeah.
you build those memories, period. Like it's, whether they're good or bad. But they're mostly good, I would like to say.
Well, I don't know if I've had any bad memories, and if I have, I don't remember them. Like I think like all the good have like outweighed the bad.
Exactly, I agree. I couldn't tell you like off the top of my head like one really negative or bad memory that I've had, with my family there. I mean, of course, everyone gets a little
Oh
annoyed.
yeah. Oh,
It's
that's
hot
what you
out
mean. Yeah.
there.
I mean, and I've had some bad experiences, but I'm gonna tell you, like, I've had some bad experiences, like with customer service. But like I don't even think about those things because once it becomes, it comes to the attention of someone else, they make up for it. And so like
Hmm.
it's not even a issue anymore. And like you said, like, the good outweighs the bad. And I know that there are people out there who do experience, you know, like their reservation is messed up or their food doesn't come out right. But, you know, you bring it to someone's attention, they 100% like make it right.
Yeah, I've always had, if there's any issue, I've had it always remedied almost
Yeah.
immediately. So you're like a second generation Disney
I think so.
lover,
Yeah.
you could say. Yeah, okay, that's beautiful. So let me ask you next. What would you say is your favorite Disney movie or show?
Okay. So I was listening to Adriana and your podcast earlier, and I
Uh-huh.
totally related to her when she said Mulan. And for me, Mulan was like a big deal because I had never seen, there aren't, even to this day, there aren't very many Asians on TV or on in movies. And for the first time, I saw someone who looked like me. And I didn't really see Asians because I grew up in a mostly African American neighborhood um, uh, in Latinos, but we didn't really have very many Asians. And the only Asians that I saw, and when I say Asians, I don't just mean Filipino because I'm part Filipino, but I don't just mean Filipino, but you know, Vietnamese or Chinese or you know, Japanese, whatever. Um, but when I saw Mulan, she was the closest that I could relate to that looked like me. And, you know, having that sense of family and, you know, in Asian cultures, like making your family proud is such a big deal. So that was the first movie that really, really made me think. Also, was a little bit older too. But the character that I identify with the most is princesses, is Moana. And again, that's another character I feel like that I look like, that, you know, has a lot of the same family traditions that my family have. So we're island people as well. And it was just really nice to be able to relate. Like Tala was my grandmother, you know, and like dancing and telling these stories. And my grandmother was a big influence in raising me. She actually was the one, you know, that took care of us after school and made sure we had something to eat. She would tell us stories. She would discipline us. So Moana, I would say, is definitely one of my favorites. But of course, I'm going to say Winnie the Pooh because Winnie the Pooh, I mean, who doesn't think about napping and eating and going on adventures with your friends? Like, that is totally me.
Winnie the Pooh is like a, I don't know if this is the right word, like a sage. He's like a
I mean,
guru.
yeah. And like, if you really pay attention to like everything that he says, like he is like the smartest person. Like he could guide you through life. Like he's just super motivating, can explain things. I mean, just, you know, life makes sense if you really pay attention to the adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
One day I was looking for like quotes from
Mm-hmm.
from the show, and I was going through them. I was like, I'm getting my
Right?
entire life right now. Like he was motivating me in ways I didn't even know a character
Exactly. I
could.
mean, it's like the most
And
simple thing that you don't even think about. And like, I mean, it was a children's book, but it was something that, you know, could help adults too. I think even more
yeah,
so as adults than kids.
definitely. And I think it's things that we forget,
Absolutely.
And I guess that is a little bit of the concept of Winnie the Pooh is, a child's curiosity and their imagination and how they, I
But
guess,
I feel like
process
adults,
feelings and
we don't
emotions.
curiosity either. I mean, we may be curious about other things, but we still want to know things. We still want to explore. I mean, it's the reason why, you know, a lot of us like continue to travel, you know, and we read because we want to know more. That's just, you know, that's just, you know, human desires to know more.
That's true. We get curious about the kind of paint in our neighbor's living room
Yeah, that too.
instead of like worried about ourselves. So that's true. Yeah, but that's what I love about these movies and these characters. they remind you about what's
Yeah,
important.
for sure. Yeah.
So I want to get into the Disnurse life and how you like to express your fandom. So you have expressed sometimes on your page that your coworkers don't necessarily understand your
Yeah.
fandom.
So
So how's that
it's
like for
it's really
you?
interesting because I worked there when I was living here, when I became a nurse, and it really was my first professional nursing job. And then I moved away and I lived in Florida, and I considered them my home and my family. So when I moved back, it only seemed natural to go back, and they welcomed me back with open arms. But now here I am with this Disney love that has intensified. And while I was there, I've collected all of these new outfits. And I would think like in the last few years, the Disney merchandise, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say like the Disney merchandise options have like, exponentially increased. Like there are so many things available, like from shirts and purses and rings and jewelry. I mean, just everything that you could think of, it's available, like on a whole different level. It used to be like you could only get stuff from the Disney store, and once in a while you could get something from, I don't know, the Target or something like that. But now, I mean, there's just so much stuff. Or maybe because I'm older and I'm available to buy this stuff. But so I would say like every outfit that I wear, I have something Disney. I know like you're a nurse and you have an ID badge, and I, because I stalk your Instagram, I thought that you had a Stitch ID badge holder, and I have one that I kind of switch out. Uh, an old Beauty and the Beast one that my friend got me, and then I got a Minnie Mouse one, and then recently, one of my coworkers bought me another Beauty and the Beast badge holder, and so I wear that every day because I have to wear green scrubs because I work in the operating room. So there's really not a big opportunity for me to express my Disney fandom, unless I'm wearing my scrub hat, which I have to cover up, and my badge holder. But I feel like, and it's going to sound really whimsical, but I feel like my Disney fandom comes out in the way that I behave, in that I really try to practice kindness to everyone. And, I always think about Cinderella, like how people were like really mean to her. And, all she wanted was like to go to this ball. She just wanted to have a dress, go to this ball. People were mean to her. And sometimes, like, we get patients that are not always very nice, but you always practice kindness to them. So I try to be that person. But also, just being adventurous too. So I'm always open-minded about learning how to do something new when there's always new technology in our field. And humans as a whole, in general, we don't like change. But I try to be open-minded. So I'm usually the one who is like the first one to be like, okay, teach me, or how do you use this? Just because, like we said, we're curious, but I want to learn things. But also, like I said, like I in my dealings with people, I like to be cheerful. I never like to show someone, even if I'm having a bad day, I don't like to show people that I am having a bad day. So I try to smile as much as possible. I try to greet everyone. I don't know, it's not a common practice anymore, but I do try to greet people even if they're not looking at me, because you never know what that greeting may do to change someone's mood or their day. But it's a funny story. So today I was walking into my manager's office, and she was saying like she saw my post, like my Facebook post, and um, we're not friends on Facebook, but she's friends with a coworker of mine, and so she shares all of my Disney posts. And I would have to say, like, her name's Loretta, and Loretta is she's basically the president of my fan club. So anything Disney, like, she shares, or she'll announce to people at work. So sometimes it's a little bit embarrassing, but it's really cute because I think like she needs to like go on a trip with me. Like I really want for that to happen.
So I love that, that you have like, someone cheering you on in your corner.
I also have people
Because,
who are the opposite, that there are people who think like it's immature. Like I remember when I first came back and they realized that I was like this crazy Disney nerd, that they were just like, well, why do you like it so much? Don't you get tired of going? Or, isn't it just for kids? Do you bring your kid? Like, I don't always bring my son. Like sometimes I like to go with my friends and sometimes I go by myself. And they don't understand that, but it's, I think people are coming around and like they understand that it's me and they've kind of accepted it's me. So I don't really get as many questions anymore, so it's kind of nice that they've kind of accepted that, okay, she loves Disney and that's just who she is. The questions I get now are, when's your next trip?
yeah, I get that too. Every time I come in, oh, you're back? You're not in, a Disney park, or you're not doing a Disney thing. But my experience actually as a Disnurse is a lot of my fellow coworkers and colleagues are actually Disney
I
crazy
remember you
too.
telling me
So
that. I'm like super jealous. Yeah, because you did
yeah,
a run like with some of them.
so yeah, I encouraged a few to actually run, run Disney half with me, and I think I reel them in a little bit more on the running side because a lot of them are avid
Mm-hmm.
runners. um, but I have a few colleagues that we can spend the whole day talking about Disney. And so I thought it was really interesting hearing your experience, because I just thought that was it. Like, nurses love Disney, and that's the
Well,
thing,
yeah, until I
because there were
met
so many
you,
around me.
I didn't know another nurse, you know, that liked Disney. Um, and it's funny because, once I joined Instagram, you you discover these people and you learn more about them. You discover like, oh my gosh, there are a lot of nurses out here who are Disney fans. And it's funny because, now that people know that I'm a big Disney fan at work, people come up to me. And so because I get excited to help them plan, they get super excited. So I have a Disney nurse, well, not a Disney nurse, but a nurse co-worker who's taking her son to Disney in about a week or so. And she's super excited. And then, anesthesiologist, she, had been bugging me every day about, just talking about Disney. I didn't mean to say bugging. I mean, she wanted to talk to me about Disney every day. And of course, I always welcome that. So, yeah, I wish that I knew more nurses, that way I feel like I could relate to them. But, you know, you were the first one.
We might have to do like a Disnurse
I
meetup
would
or
be
something,
totally down for
or like a Disney nurse scrub day where you
No, no, I can't do the scrubs.
show up or
I'm
something.
sorry. The best
I
I could do
know.
is maybe an all white outfit, but I cannot do scrubs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even bring my own scrubs anymore. I just wear the scrubs that I work. And everyone's like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I
you're so
don't even
lucky."
own a pair of
But
scrubs.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, because I have to change when I get to work, so they provide them. So I don't even own a pair of scrubs.
same. Yeah, I think I just actually donated all the ones I have. So it is what it is. Yeah. So that I thought that was really interesting to me, that you didn't have a lot of Disney fans near you, but I also think it's interesting how your love of Disney and your just your genuineness has gotten other people to open up their minds and to be more accepting of you, and to be open to getting to learn about this whole world.
Well, I think it also has to do with how you treat people. And I think that's one of the things that I like about Disney stories, and why a lot of parents like for their kids to, watch Disney stories and learn about Disney stories, because they always have a good lesson, on how to live your life, whether it's to be kind to someone or to be more adventurous, or, it's always about making your dreams come true. And I feel like the more positive you are, people are open to receiving that. And it's not about what you say, it's how you make people feel. And I could go around and tell people that I love Disney all day long, but if I go treating people negatively, or if I have a bad day every day, no one's going to be open to that. So I think like we all have this natural desire to be happy, and I choose happiness. So is every day happy? No, but I choose not to, show that. And so I think people have that genuine desire to, if this person has happiness, like, what is she doing? Or at least be open to learning about, that person's experience. And, that's either going to be for them or not, but they're going to at least be open to learning about it.
Wow, that is so true. Happiness is contagious.
It is, but at the same time, so is misery.
Yeah, sure. I love company. So do you think being in the healthcare field has fueled your love of Disney?
I don't know if it has fueled it. I feel like I've had this underlying love for a long time. But I mean, it only is natural for me, I feel like when you're a nurse, that you should be a people person. And I think that these qualities that Disney stories, teach is something that a people person should have. So I think the natural thing is when you are nice to people and you want to take care of people, you want people to, to feel better and to be better, that definitely that helps you, like in healthcare, for sure. But I think that that's something that you have to have within yourself already. It's not something that you can teach.
Yeah, that's true, because you can't fake
it.
You
can't. And I see so many people that enter nursing for the wrong reasons, and then they think like, okay, well, I'm gonna spend all this time around people, and I'll learn to like taking care of people. But if you don't have that to begin with, for whatever reason, you're just not going to succeed, or you're not going to be good at what you do.
Yeah, and you gotta love it, because
you have to love it. And so
there's a lot of,
yes, I was going to say, like, I'm grateful for for all the lessons that I did. Like I really do feel like, as a young child, like watching these movies and learning how to treat people, because you basically learn all those things when you're younger, from your parents or from church, or for movies. For a lot of people, it's just movies and TV. So if you're not learning those things at a young age, and having that desire to be, that person, it's really difficult as you choose a career.
It's true. So while you were in Florida during that time, were you working as a nurse?
I was doing the same thing. I was working in the operating room as a charge nurse. And I do have to say, like, I do love my job, but it was a very stressful place to work. Just things were a little bit different. And also added to the fact that I was away from my family and my, and the friends that I grew up with. So I didn't have that outlet. And so Disney became a way for me to get away from it. And so I found myself taking a lot of like day trips or like weekend trips if I could. But that was kind of like an outlet for me. And at least that's the way it started, and it was a way where I could like have a good time and not think about work, not think, just your daily things that you think about. It's just like some magical place, and where everything is just happy, even with the crowds and the lines. It's just, you're just in a happy place.
Yeah, it's all about the mindset,
for sure
too.
I feel like people, I think that's why people like it, because once you get to Walt Disney World, I mean, it changes. Like, you just feel like you're in a different world. And so I have a funny story, and I'm not trying to bash anything, but I grew up on Walt Disney World. That's my home. And like just the signs on the street. And then when you go into Magic Kingdom, like right before you hit the parking lot, they got that like magical sign. And you're just like, oh my God. I remember being a kid and like, oh my God, we're here. And I remember like going to Disneyland and they just had like this little banner, outside the parking garage. And I'm like, is that it? Like, where's the, like, it's like, you feel it once you get into the park, but at Walt Disney World, I mean, once you get close, it's like this anticipation that you're about to be transported into a whole different world. It really is a different world.
It is a world.
It is.
It's a world into itself, like literally. I'm ready for it to secede from the Union.
Take me with you.
You know how I'd be a citizen. I can't afford a house.
Oh yeah, me neither. But let me spend the night.
I could pay some rent a room or something.
Let me get your guest room.
Exactly. So, do you miss being so close to a Disney park now that you're back home?
I do. I really do. But it just makes like the anticipation just a little bit more exciting. Since I've gone back, I believe in living a life with a Disney trip booked. So as soon as I came home, I already had one booked. And the fun thing is that I've fallen in love with Dapper Days at Disney. And I've made a lot of friends who participate in that. And so I always know that I'm going to at least one of those events, whether it's at Walt Disney World or it's at Disneyland. This spring, I'm going to be at Walt Disney World. But in the fall, I am planning to go to Disneyland Paris. And then hopefully I'll either go to Disneyland in California or Walt Disney World for the fall. So I know I have at least those trips planned, and then we'll see what the rest of the year will look like.
I think I got put on to Dapper Day from you
because all I do is talk about it.
I've never been to one, and I was hoping to be able to go to the one in Walt Disney World last fall, but I don't remember what happened. And I still plan on going, so I might have to.
Oh my God, I would love for you to come. I think that you would be amazing. Like I have not. I don't even remember like looking at an outfit and not being in just complete awe. Like I would stare at your outfits like, oh my gosh, like, where did you get that from? Like, it looks so good. I mean, I have no clue. I remember oh my gosh, what was that? I mean, I love the Phasma outfit, but oh my God, I love Star Wars, but I cannot think of Lando. Was it Lando? Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. My dude.
Lando, that Disney bound. I was like, where did she get that from? Because that is perfect. You look amazing. And it was so funny because you came out of the blue with this Disney bound. I mean, before, you were super active on Instagram. Like we were in this Facebook group together. And you're like, oh, I'm thinking about Disney bounding. And like, you just went, boom, here I am. I was like, oh, she needs to be my friend.
That's true. Yeah, we were Facebook friends before we even like did the Instagram thing. And yeah, because that's where we met.
Yeah,
originally.
And it's just been really amazing to watch you grow and see all the friendships that you that you have made, and just just your different styles, because like with every bound it's just more and more incredible.
Well, thank you. But I will have to say I've loved the evolution of your fashion as well.
Thank you.
Because I think we were doing the princess half, and then I saw you starting to do the Dapper Days, and like I think it's like evolved like tremendously. Like
yeah, I think around the same time that I moved to Florida, my whole wardrobe was basically leggings and yoga pants, maybe some jean shorts and t-shirts and tank tops, and that was pretty much it, just the standard whatever. And I mean, my weight has always fluctuated. I've been thin, I've been bigger, and I don't, I feel like I'm a confident person, because my weight doesn't define who I am. But at the same time, I'm one of those people who feel like you should wear things that fit you. Like, I'm not one of these people, you know, I mean, more power to you if you feel confident, like going out with a bandage dress, and more power to you if you could do that. You know, I'm not going to knock anybody for that. But for me, that's not something that I was comfortable doing. And so I really, I was just comfortable in t-shirts and leggings. And I saw these people at Disney, and they, you know, it was a larger girl, and she had, a dress on, and I thought she looked absolutely beautiful. And I didn't even think that they made dresses like that in my size. So I just was exploring, and I was able to find this one yellow dress, and they, was in my size, and I wore it, and it, I mean, literally changed my life. I put it on, I felt comfortable, but it was just a dress. And so I took the trip up to Orlando, drove the 2.5 hours from the West Palm Beach area. And as soon as I got on the ferry boat, like, that moment, like, changed my life. I walked over onto the boat, and the captain, was giving his little safety instructions, and he waved at me, and I waved back. And he was like, "Good morning, Belle." Everybody said, "Good morning, Belle." And I mean, I knew that as wearing a yellow dress that I was kind of gonna Disney bound as Belle, but I had no accessories. I just had this one little dress. And as I spent the day at the park, people would greet me, and I just felt really more comfortable. And I am a people person. So once you start talking to me, I just start rambling, and I'll tell you my whole life story. So it was like an amazing experience for me. And from there, I decided to start exploring things. That was the moment where I started to discover people who had, exclusively Disney on their Instagram. And so I was able to learn more about it. And then I met also people online who were encouraging me to explore, different fashions. And to me, that was just something that fit me, that I felt more comfortable in dresses and skirts. And I thought of a way, like, I could Disney bound this way. And then I discovered Dapper Day. And then I realized that people not just, Disney bounded, but they did Dapper bounding. And I was like, this is my life right here. And even to this day, like, it started off just when I went to Disney, but now it is an everyday thing. Like, my entire wardrobe incorporates a little bit of Disney, a little some vintage inspired clothes. But some people say I look old fashioned, but I mean, that's okay. I mean, it's I feel like me. So that's how it all started.
And I think that with the evolution of your fashion, the evolution of your, like, confidence, and I don't know, I just feel like I've seen such a great change in you, over, I think I've probably known you maybe the longest of, my Instagram friends.
Yeah, we've known each other for a little bit now.
Yeah. And so, like, seeing your evolution, I've really enjoyed it. I would just love to say. And I've loved the evolution of your style.
Thank you.
And I think I remember that yellow dress because we were trying to find shoes for it, right?
Yeah.
At one point.
Because the shoes that I wore did not match at all. But, whatever.
But yeah,
it's funny. Now I think about little detail. I think about, like, the pins that I'm going to wear, or like the scarf, or how I'm going to do my hair. Like, those I did not think about, 4 years ago. Like, I didn't care what my hair looked like. So yeah, it's definitely been an evolution, but it's not something that, that I just decided on my own. I really did have people who encouraged me to, be brave, to be bold, and, just explore and have fun with it. And again, it's people who I met online. And so I'm really grateful for the Disney community online, for sure.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, and the beauty of the Disney community. It's so far reaching and so diverse that there's a niche for everyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
You have your
even
own
if you
style. I have my style. I mean, there's just so many things that you can do. and just so many different options. There's something for everybody.
That is really true. So the next Dapper date that I go to, we're gonna have to like hook up and do some kind of collaboration
Oh,
or
I would love
something.
to, do a little theme together. That would be, oh my gosh,
I
that would be
already
like
know
a
the
dream for me.
movie. I've not seen the movie that I want to do, so I have to watch the movie. But
Okay. Well,
yeah,
let me know, and we will make that happen.
cool. I'm excited
I
already.
just need I just need a little bit of motivation, and
um,
I'm gonna book my trip.
yes, no, it'll be awesome. Well, I mean, we always have fun when we're together anyway,
Yeah.
but it'll
I
be
mean, I
much
could
better.
go in a tank top for sure, and I would still have a good time. But it definitely makes it much more fun.
Yeah, because you kind of get into character. I think
I think
that's
so, and I feel like the characters, when you do meet and greets, they recognize that effort, and they're like, oh my gosh, this person is a fun person. So I feel like I get the best meet and greets when I dress up. I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way.
yeah. From my very first time, like dressing up my family, the experience kind of was just like multiplied.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so we got some planning to do. Okay, I gotta get my Pinterest
Sounds
board open.
good.
Add you to it. Let's talk about the parks. Which
Okay.
park, out of all the parks you've been to so far, would you say is your favorite?
So I'm gonna say Magic Kingdom, and I love Animal Kingdom too. That would be a close second, but I'm gonna say Magic Kingdom. I only have my mom left, and you know, growing up, I have these memories, these family vacations, and my mom and my dad, my grandmother and my brother, and I've lost my dad, I've lost my grandmother, but for some reason, when I still go to Disney, and even though some of the attractions are now no longer there, if I'm in that area, I still remember them being there. Um, and every time the fireworks goes off, I still remember my dad was like, "We're gonna watch these fireworks." I paid $20 for these tickets. And, $20 was a lot of money back then. So I paid $20 for these tickets, and you're gonna watch these fireworks. And I'm so grateful for Disney because I have those memories. And I have them mostly at Magic Kingdom. I do remember going to Epcot, and I remember going to MGM Studios. That's what it was called back then. We didn't really, I think we only went to Animal Kingdom once, but we went to Magic Kingdom like all the time. Like, to us, Magic Kingdom was Disney World, and for that reason, that's always going to hold a special place in my heart. And just the first rides that I ever got on, Dumbo and Snow White Scary Adventures, even though that's not there anymore. um I still have those memories, and then being able to take my son for the first time was like an amazing experience. I'm a single mom, and so it really meant a lot for me to be able to take him. And I also took my cousin's daughter, and so they were able to go, and it was both their first times. And just to see the light in their face and the joy, that's something that I could give them. And there's nothing like that.
Yeah, Magic Kingdom is it's a whole other world.
It
It's like
it
Disney
really
World
is.
inside
And
of
then I
Disney
start
World.
thinking about all the other people who have their memories there, and it can bring a tear to your eye.
Yeah, I had a debate on like which fireworks were better, Magic Kingdom or like Epcot's my favorite fireworks show. But someone was like, "There's no magic.
That's
It's not the
so not
same."
true, though. It's so not true. I
Yeah.
I spent maybe a couple years ago. I had a birthday at Epcot. That was the first park that we went to, and I brought my friend who had never been to Disney ever. And the only reason she came was because it was my birthday, and it was something I really wanted to do, and she loves me so much. So she came, and the first thing that we went on was Test Track, and she liked that. But when we went on Soarin', which was our second thing that we did, like, she almost didn't even want to get up from the seat. Like, I watched her and I was like, "Are you okay?" And like, she had a tear in her eye, and she's like, "Oh my God, I like totally get it now. That was so magical." And I was just like, "Yes, I've got another one." But there is so much magic there. I mean, there's so much detail. I mean, the people who built those parks, they put their heart and soul in it, and you can see it. Epcot has been my favorite for a long time. I do feel like it it needs some updates, and I'm really looking forward to the changes that are coming. But I mean, Epcot has like the best food, so um, it has a special place in my heart because I really, really like food, and I feel like the best restaurants are there. And the snacks. Oh my gosh, there's like so many festivals now. It's so hard to pick a favorite park. Why do you do this to me?
I know. I mean, they all have their pluses and whatnot.
Yeah.
So definitely. So I'm gonna have to wrap up soon, but I have a couple more questions
Okay.
for you. Do you have any advice for people interested in relocating?
Ooh. See, I'm one of those people who like I'm definitely a fly by the seat kind of person. So my move was pretty much impulsive. But I think like for anyone who wants to relocate specifically to the Central Florida area, to be close to Disney World, they're considered a traffic, So I would think like, research where you're going to work, if you're going to work, or, where you're going to live, and think about your commute. I know that's a huge factor in Central Florida. But I mean, being the person that I am, if you really feel like you should go, I feel like you should go. You only have one life, live your best life. And if you really want to do it, you only get one chance at it. So just go, pack up your stuff and figure it out. That's what I did. And, if you don't figure it out and you miss home, you can always move back. That's what I did too.
Do you think you would go
I
back?
think so. I think when I retire, maybe that I will. I have this friend, Margaret, and she and I always talk about us being the Golden Girls, but instead of living in Miami, we're going to move to Disney World. And so far, it's just me and her. So we are recruiting for, 2 more. I haven't decided which. I think I'm going to be Blanche. And so, there's still some other, Golden Girls available. So we'll see.
I'm down for that. And we can all pool our pensions
Right.
and go get a house in
Because we ain't
Golden
going to have
Oaks,
Social Security later on,
Girl, let's not even get in that. But yeah, we can all pool our retirement funds and we can go buy a house in Golden Oak and we'll all take a room and it'll be beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I mean, that's my plan.
Let's start put out the ad now. That's cool. I mean, I would love to, I don't know, I get on the fence every now and then about relocating or moving to Florida. Like, I know Florida is bigger than just Disney World, even though I don't want to think about it. But
is it really though? No,
it doesn't have to be honest, but it kind of is. So I would never say no, but I'm a planner, so I would definitely have to think it through a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm the total opposite. Just like, I want to do that. Okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. So what is one thing about yourself that you would like everyone to know?
Well, I would like for people to know that I am a very open person. I'm open to learning about other people. I'm open to making new friendships. My parents say that, I've had like this little, I have this like look where I'm like stuck up, or I have this look where I don't want people to approach me. But that's like hardly the case. Like, I really enjoy meeting people. So, if I don't come to you at the parks, or, say hi to me if you see me. I mean, don't be afraid to approach me. I mean, I love talking to people. And if you say something to me, I probably will steal you for at least 20 minutes because I will want to know all about you. And the same thing on, social media. I have people who told me that they didn't want to send me messages because they were afraid, or, they were shy. And I mean, how would I know like you're out there if you don't say hi? I mean, I love to get to know people from all over the place. I want to learn about you, and I want to learn about your fandom and how you celebrate Disney. So Yeah, I like friends, so come be my friend.
I hear that. I suffer from resting witch face as well. And
So you know what I'm talking about.
yeah, and I think sometimes it's a necessary evil because not all energy is good energy. So I think
Yeah,
sometimes it
I
weeds
don't
itself
know, but
out.
I honestly don't know where it comes from.
Yeah, but and then when people like actually get to know me, they're like, "Oh, I thought you were like really mean."
Yeah,
Like,
I can relate to that.
yeah, I'm like, that's probably your own projection, So,
No, we probably do look like that.
no, I do because I'm always in my head thinking. But I totally get you. But it's great, when there are those people that are willing to take the chance to get to know you, whether or not you're open to being receptive or not.
Yeah,
And those
I
are
mean,
the
I'm
those are the
grateful for
friends
our
that
friendship.
are
I
worth
mean,
it. Okay, so final question.
mhm.
Where can people find you?
Well, I spend a lot more time on Instagram, so you can find me with my tag ANALAPOOH. You can also use that link on Facebook. I have a page called Disney con Sabor with Anna LaPoo. And so if you're on Instagram or Facebook, you can find me there. And also on my YouTube channel, which I will be relaunching with Dapper Day videos in the spring because it's been some time. But I'm on YouTube as well as Anna LaPoo.
Awesome. And I will be sure to link all of that in the show notes so people can just easily be able to find you. So
this was awesome. I had a
Anna,
really good time. I mean, I love talking Disney anyway.
this was great. This was amazing. I'm so grateful for you taking this time out to talk to me.
I'm
Thank
grateful for
you.
you too for having this project.
Oh, I mean, it's just an excuse for me to talk to my friends. So
I like it.
Yes. And every conversation I've had so far has been so enriching and like such a blessing for me. And so I'm just so happy that everyone has been so open to talk about themselves and to share. And so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For doing
Thank
that.
you for having me again.
And until next time, until Dapper Day fall.
Sounds good. I'll be waiting to hear from you.
All right, we're going to start plotting. Okay. All right, until next time.
Thanks, June. Bye.
Bye.
You've just heard my conversation with Anna, aka Anna LaPoo. If you've been on the fence at all about relocating and getting a little taste of the Disney local life, I hope hearing a little bit about her experience has helped you make the decision to take the leap and see if it's for you. And like she said, if it isn't, you can always move back home. If you're interested in getting to know more about what Dapper Day is all about and Dapper fashion in general, you should go check out the Dapper Day website and Instagram page, which I will link in the show notes. And the minority-owned small business for this episode is Besame Cosmetics. It is a cruelty-free makeup line that is owned by Gabriela Hernandez, and it has everything to complete your dapper glam look. A link for their Instagram page and website will be in the show notes. And as always, if you've enjoyed what you've heard, please be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share this podcast with all of your friends. And be sure to join the Afros and Pixie Dust Facebook group so we can talk about Endgame and Dapper Day fall plans and anything else you want to talk about that's Disney related. So until next time, Dis friends, never stop deep conditioning or pursuing your happiness.